Grab the duct tape and mentally prepare yourself for yet another mind-expanding knowledge bomb from America's #1 business coach, Clay Clark.
That's it. Bombs away.
Yes, 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 and yes, Dr. Z. It is just always, it's audio ecstasy when you are next to me, sir. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. I love that someone thinks it's ecstasy when I'm next to them. That just puts a smile on my face.
Well, I think for the listeners out there that are into the definition of words, controversial idea. When you look at the definition of ecstasy, it reads an overwhelming feeling of great happiness or joyful excitement. So I can actually say that with a straight face.
Sure. Oh, I know you can.
I mean that. Now, for the listeners out there today who are not familiar with this show, we like to focus on things that actually can change your life. And so on today's show, I want to talk about pushing forward in the face of adversity. So we're going to go around the horn here, go around the room, and what we're going to do is we are going to bring up examples of where we fought through rejection and we kept pushing on en route to success. And we're going to one-up each other. So I'm going to start first, and no matter how good my little warm-up story is, Z's story will be better.
Okay.
And then Paul Hood's story can surpass that story. And then Ryan Wimpey with Tip Top K9 gets to win the prize here. So here we go. We all have a good idea. Everybody out there has a good idea. You say, I want to raise capital. I want to start a business. I want to open my new company.
Man.
We all have these ideas.
You got it.
But the person who can't fight through adversity never executes the idea. And they run around going, I have that idea.
Entrepreneurs is what we call them.
Entrepreneurs. They say,
I like that.
Why didn't I do it? Why didn't I do that idea?
I thought of that idea
that
years
was
ago.
my idea.
You should share it with me now, since you did all the work.
Have you heard this, though, this kind of logic?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
And then colleges applaud it. They give you awards for the best business idea. They rarely give an award for the best execution of the idea. It's always the best idea. And so here we go. I had an idea that I wanted to book Boeing, the people who make the airplanes, Boeing for their Christmas party.
Yes, I'm from okay. You wanted to book. When you say book it, I mean
I wanted to be their disc jockey.
There you go.
I wanted to be the DJ of choice for Boeing, their 40th anniversary.
Oh wow!
And I remember I cold called Boeing. And Z, what's crazy? Boeing didn't call me. I called them.
What? So wait a second. Didn't they know you had a DJ business, DJ connection?
They must have skipped it in the phone book because they did not call me. I called them.
Wow!
But I had a lot of equipment. And it occurred to me that a lot of people don't wake up with a burning desire to pay me.
Really?
But I didn't have that idea until after I bought my equipment. Paul, have you ever had that thought as an accounting firm? You ever thought like, wow, we have a lot of overhead now, but not a lot of people call us. We should probably call other people.
Yeah, it might be good. My payroll is $2.5 million a year, so it's I got to call a lot of people.
Got to call a lot of people.
Got to call a lot of people.
Ryan, have you ever had that idea with Tip Top K9 where you're thinking to yourself, man, not a lot of people are calling me just because I have overhead.
I know they have dogs.
Hey, I have a bright yellow van. I got all my flyers made, and my business cards are finally in, and I know what to do, and no one's calling. Yeah.
So we've all been there. So this is what I did. I picked up the phone book, and I called Boeing. Now, this is how I got through. Z, can you be the front desk person?
Sure, absolutely.
And you're gonna reject me at least 3 or 4 different times, okay?
Sure.
Call number 1. Who's in charge?
No, give me that.
Okay.
Let me answer.
Hello, and thank you for calling Boeing Airlines.
Yes.
How may I help you?
I'm trying to talk to the person who's in charge of booking your entertainment. Who would that be?
Why did I take your name and number, and I can pass that along?
That happened like 7 times. Then I had an idea. Here's my idea. Right?
Oh.
This one worked.
Hello, and thank you for calling Boeing.
Yeah, I got a question. I'm trying to get the details for our Christmas party this year. My wife and I want to make sure we're dressing appropriately and know the times and all that stuff. Who's organizing it this year?
Oh, that's Roxanne. She's
there. We go. And they gave me Alice Hargrove's number, and there I was on the phone with Alice. So I said, Alice.
Alice.
And that move worked. I just changed my script a little bit
Sure.
to who's planning our Christmas party,
Right.
thus implying I might be invited.
Yeah, come to find out.
Well, you never know. I mean, that's a safe assumption. You're just a positive attitude.
Sure.
But I mean, I had to try all these different. It took me weeks to figure it out, but I finally got through. I'm on the phone with Alice. I'll never forget it. She said, well, we already have. I said, Alice, who are you using this year for the DJ? And she said, we're using such and such company. And I said, how happy are you with their performance on a scale of 1 to 10? If 10 is great and 1 is terrible, how happy are you with their performance? And she does what most people do. She said something like, well, about a 7 or an 8.
Right.
And I said, well, I'll take it from a 7 or an 8 to great.
Whoa.
So I'd like to come meet you. Free consultation. I can show you how we can help you. And got a lot of plans, revolutionary plans that take parties from ordinary to extraordinary. And you only have to pay me $1 to book me, and you don't have to pay the rest unless you're happy. So it is a hot deal. Now again,
There you go.
you might ruin the party, and that might still be $1 might be too much, or it could be great. But I'd love to meet you. So Z, she agreed to meet, and I just told her I have revolutionary party ideas that will take parties to the next level. And you know the one thing.
Do you have any specifics?
Nothing. So when she agreed to do it, I thought to myself,
Oh no!
I better get something.
I better get something.
So I went to Barnes & Noble back when you could go to a stores without a mask.
I don't remember that.
So I went there, and then I was. By the way, folks, we have a very smart professor from Yale, who's now talking about how the hype about coronavirus is not a real thing. I'll put it on the show notes. We got MIT doctors now saying the coronavirus is overhyped. We got Stanford doctors. So anyway, the point is that I think eventually people will wake up and we'll go back to stores. But the point is, I go in there. I bought a book called "How to Be a DJ" or something, or great way how to take your party to the next level.
Right.
And I got the book. See,
Yeah.
crazy thing.
Crazy
And
thing.
I wrote down the ideas in the book.
No.
And I showed up to meet her. And I asked her, we have a man who wants in the door there. There we go. And so I asked the question. I said, do you want me to teach everybody a line dance? And Z, she says, yes. Yes, I do want you to teach the line. Now, you know what the problem was there?
You didn't know the line dance?
Right.
Right.
And I said, now, do you want to name that tune? She says, yes.
Yes.
Now, do you want to do Price is Right? Do you want to do Family Feud? Do you want to do karaoke? And she said, yes, yes, yes. And it occurred to me, I don't know how to do any of these things.
None.
But then I read the books, learned how to do it, hired someone to teach me things. Boom, there it is.
Got
But
it.
if I had not been willing to push through all that rejection, I would not have had super success. But that right there is a lame story because this is the game of one-upsmanship. We're playing the one-upsmanship game.
Yeah, but you can't start off with Boeing. That's not fair.
No, that's
not fair.
It's a good story.
No, I know,
but
it's not
you've
fair.
been rejected by banks.
Well, I know, but still.
You've been rejected by.
You can't tell my rejection stories.
Z, are you backing down to a challenge?
No,
I've never
I'm-
seen this.
No.
I think his
Oh,
knees
Paul.
are quivering over
No,
there.
Paul. No, Paul. I just want to point out the facts that he's rigging the game.
He swung big, didn't he?
He swung big right there. He goes, I'm just going to go up and
Yeah,
hey,
I'm gonna bunt.
Coach, I'm going to bunt.
Yeah.
And then he goes
Knocks
back
it
and
out.
knocks it out. And tries
It was
to
a C. I have better stories. That was a
Out
solid
of the park.
C. That
Oh.
was a solid. I could have done
It was
better.
about a 7.
A 7.
That's
maybe
about
an
a 7.
All right, now
Right.
get yourself ready because we're this is a hot and fast show here. 15 minutes of fury. Story number 1. I give it a B, maybe a C, but I know Paul's going to one up you. So give us a story that's true.
Well, I was coming out of optometry school. You alluded to it earlier,
Yeah.
and it's kind of got a fun ending to it. So hang in there, folks. But when I came out of optometry school, every young wannabe doctor says, "I want to have my own clinic." Right?
Have my own clinic.
Have my own clinic.
Every doctor says
or
it.
be a partner
Oh.
in a big thing going on. So I found a gentleman who wanted to sell his practice. It was kind of cool. It was right over there by 71st and Lewis, as a matter of fact. And so he said, all you have to do is go get the financing. And I'm sure
this is easy.
any bank in town,
Would
since you have
do
a
it.
DR in front of your name,
Doctor.
and since you carry around a hard case Samsonite briefcase, with the little flip toggles on the side,
Yeah.
Yeah, always sexy. Since you carry that around, you must mean business.
Done.
Business time.
I went and knocked on every bank in Tulsa's door. Everyone,
Knocked on the door.
knocked at the door.
You actually showed up?
I showed up. I just physically walked in, and they'd greet me, and they said, "Well, how can we can do it for you today?" And I said, "Well, I'd like to talk to a loan officer. I'm Dr. Zoellner, and I'm I need to talk
Here
to
it is.
one."
Doctor.
And most of the times I would get that a meeting. Sometimes I'd get they're busy. We have to make an appointment.
You looked very young back in the day. I mean, when you were 30, you looked like you were 10.
Well, I was 10 at that picture.
I mean, you're a young man, though. Seriously, you're a young.
I'm 25 years old at
But
this
you
time.
looked really young.
Well,
I mean,
I
your
guess that's-
25 was like, don't you think? I mean, objectively, you looked very young.
I don't know. I never really had a big head of hair, so that kind of.
I mean, you were beautiful, but I mean, you looked like a young, beautiful man.
a young, beautiful man. Well, I smelled good. I know that much. Rejection. It was the same thing. You don't have enough history. There's not enough this. There's not enough that. And as crazy as it may seem out
Yep.
there, for those of you wanting to buy a business, And when they hand you their Paul, you can probably be talking to this. When they hand you their numbers, their papers, they go, and they give you a wink and go, but I usually make a little bit more than that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And what that means, folks, is that sometimes the cash don't get included in the day's tally.
Right.
I run it through the business.
But yeah,
Business.
But what happens is when you go to buy it, now you have to show the money that's coming through, and there's no record of that. And therefore they look at you and say, well, that doesn't justify the loan you want. You won't be able to pay it back with that cash
They're not
flow.
honest with where the money goes, kind of like Black Lives Matter.
Kind of like that.
Oh,
Okay,
It's a
sorry.
bait and switch.
Good one.
Similar.
Yeah. So I found one bank. That
One
said,
bank.
Listen,
Come on.
listen, I'll give you the loan on one condition.
One
I said,
condition.
What is it? He said, I'll give you half the money up front. The other half you have to put in a CD for 6 months. And if you make your payments and it looks like you're heading the right direction, we'll release that second half to said seller of the office.
Does a CD stand for cash put into a hole that someone dug?
No, it's a certificate of deposit.
Oh, thank you
they
for clearing that up.
And they have a lifeline of or a life, of 6 months usually, or maybe they can do it 9 months, a year. And if you take it out before that, it's a penalty. But anyway, so they told the gentleman that and me, and he said to me, no. All up front, that was our deal, or out the door. And I said, man. So I went and I did something crazy.
What'd you do?
Hey, this is going to sound absurd.
Shaka Baba.
I went and got a job.
What?
Wait a minute. Let me cue up the box fan. This is when you talk about the story sounds too crazy. It makes me want to go talking to a box fan. I mean, this sounds less crazy.
That does actually sound
You're talking about
crazy.
getting a job
J-O-B.
A JLB.
for somebody else.
But that wasn't my dream.
No.
My dream was to have my own practice. To have my name on the door.
Oh yeah.
My name up on the sign.
Your body.
I worked all that.
Over the
I
building.
worked all that. It was a long weekend in Puerto Rico to get what I wanted, and I found out it was 8 years. But
A quick 8 years.
in Tulsa. I mean, in Tahlequah. Went to Northeastern State University.
By the way, folks, for those of you out there looking for great family vacationing ideas, go to Tahlequah. I mean, it's known for.
It's got
It
some.
is good
you
stuff.
Float the river
Float the
there.
river.
10 Killers, a beautiful lake.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's a good place.
charming
It's a good-
place.
Go
I'm
to
just-
Salmonellas.
Yo, there. Oh, wow. And so anyway, I it wasn't my dream, but I thought, well, now that I can't do my dream today, that doesn't mean I can't plan to do my dream down the road. And now, as like you so eloquently like to say, not only do I have all the businesses that I have, but I actually own about 10% of a bank. So
Did you say that
how
you
about
own
them apples?
10% of a bank?
Yeah, roughly about there.
You know, folks, for any of you out there right now who find yourself in a tough spot and you're looking for free suckers, go to drzoellner.com and just tell them, I want some free suckers. Because at the bank, you get all the suckers you want, right?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of our listeners, business people, they want
A lot
suckers.
of toasters.
Yeah, I think beyond 2 suckers, you're stealing, though.
Yeah.
You have more suckers in your lobby than what most MLM people have in their conferences. That's how many suckers you have.
Wow, I didn't have
So many
Never heard that
suckers.
before.
That's
But that was
a
my
bunch.
thing about rejection. Sometimes you get rejected enough, and you could just go out there and say, "Well, I'm not going to stop till I open my business."
Not
And
going to
guess what?
stop.
You can't do it without the thing called the monies.
The monies.
So I got my job. I lived below my means. I saved up some money.
How long did it take you?
Oh, let's see. It took me 1 year.
A quick 12 months. Now that story, if I were going to give that story some quality, that story is already a solid A-. Mine
That's
was a
there.
solid B. Really, let's be real. My story was a C-. So now your story hopped up from a C- game to an A- game.
I think it's maybe B+.
Oh, I got this.
Okay, Paul, please give us a good story. And then, by the way, we got about 15 minutes of fury here, so we've got to
Got
get
it.
2
This'll be
stories
quick.
in 6 minutes. So Ryan Wimpey, be ready
Well,
at TikTok
I don't
Canine.
have a bank or Boeing story, so we'll
You're
see what
gonna,
Paul has. So
you'll one up these lame stories. So you're next, Paul. What do you got?
All right, so here it is. This is later in life, and this is a fun story because I got the same stories about bankers and blah, 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 blah. But here's the deal. So I get this email from my son, and it's about a 25,000 square foot house. We go look at this house. I already have a nice house. I have a ranch and love where we think this is where we are end all, our final home. And I go look at this house, and it's winter. There's no power on. Have to use my cell phone to go look through it. There's bats, Clay, flying around in this house. Bats.
Was Dr.
Bats.
Fauci there? He loves bats.
Fauci was, I believe he was there. But
Probably
it was
paid
kind of a
for him.
ghosting thing.
Okay.
But this guy had built this house for like 12, 14 years, and he got it to the sheetrock phase. So he had some issues, blah, 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 and had about $6 million into this place.
Did he have issues with sheetrock?
No, he
Bats?
loved
Okay,
sheetrock.
good. I just want to make sure it wasn't.
Not with bats or
So it's
anything
not gonna
else.
make it hard
Did
to build
it
a
have
house.
a bat cave?
He did not.
Was it
I've
Batman?
looked. I'm hoping I
How-
still find the button.
Was the house in Wuhan?
No, it was just outside of Wuhan.
Okay.
Uh,
Sorry, all the bat references.
Yeah,
Just okay.
yeah. It just
Okay,
kind of gets
yeah.
us confused.
The guy doesn't sing Meatloaf, does he?
No, he
It's not
does
that
not
guy.
sing. Not that guy.
Okay,
Another
okay,
guy.
okay. Another
S-
guy.
an-
Continue,
another-
Paul. I'm sorry. I got it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they're getting into my 6 minutes.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they
Sorry,
are.
sorry.
Oh,
So-
sorry, Paul.
So the point is I have very good. By this time, I have very good banking relations. I've got very good net worth. I've got money set aside, and I go to my banks, which I deal with about 7 different banks, and normally I just walk in and say, hey, I need some money, and they just put it in my account.
Sure.
So I go to the banks and I ask, here's this deal. I've got a $6.5 million house I can buy for $1.5 million.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
So common sense. They all said no.
They all said no.
What?
They all said no. So-
What?
yeah, they kept bringing up this movie Money Pit. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie Money Pit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So something ain't right. Something's not right, Paul.
Is
you
Money
can't get
Pit about Dr. Fauci?
No, Tom Hanks is in it, and that's a whole nother discussion.
Oh, that
right
Tom
there.
Hanks and Pitts.
Did someone say pedophile?
Pedophile Pits.
I'm sorry.
I don't
there's a
know
lot
what
of
that
you guys
is.
You guys are.
Hey, go to Greece. He's
sorry.
going to Greece.
Yeah.
It's not
Sorry.
against the law.
Sorry, I'm
It's
just you guys are. It's like a lot of innuendo in this story, Paul.
Sorry,
I'm
I
not
know.
gonna-
We a lot of rabbit trails, a lot of bat trails.
So anyway, long and the short of it is none of my banks would loan me money. So this was a dead deal. I mean, I'm thinking, well, gosh, it's a great deal. Why can't I get somebody
It's
to
a
loan me money?
fabulous deal.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
So I go, I talk to the bankruptcy attorney that's involved with it. I talk to the realtors. I talk to the existing bank, and they all said, no, they can't get it done, can't get it done, can't get it done. Finally, I just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And finally, the bank that had the loan was getting ready to have to foreclose on it. And I convinced them to loan me the money plus another couple million to finish the house. So now I've got a house that is worth 2.5 times what I've got into it. And I've literally had builders mad at me because they didn't have the cojones to ask to make an offer. Because see, what I did was I believe if it had to be a hell yes. And so I set an extreme anchor. I offered 1.1 million thinking they're going to laugh at me. But that was my number. And when they came back and went from 4-something, 6-something, 4-something to 1.9, I said, holy smoke, this just got real. And so just by asking, if I would, all these other builders, all these other people, they said no. Okay, this can't be done. This can't be done. Can't be done. And it took me 6 months of trying to get somebody to say yes, but I didn't stop. And now my net worth went up, several million.
The problem about this show is I want Dr. Fauci to stop listening to it. Because he just keeps asking, can you please shut down your company? Can you please wear a mask? Can you please? And even though it defies logic, it doesn't make any sense at all. Eventually people are going, okay. Since you won't shut up about it.
I'm hoping he keeps watching because all this money he's making off the coronavirus, he might be able to buy my house.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Oh, it's
wow.
for sale now.
No, it's for sale if somebody can stroke a check. It's for now.
Everything's for sale, I guess, technically. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So that story, I would say that story's solid. Was already probably solid A. What is it, A+. I mean, that was a phenomenal story.
Well, I don't know. He sounded, it's because it's a violent story. He was doing a lot of pushing. Like, I don't know if it's UFC.
I mean,
He's
Paul
a-
Hood,
He's
Paul,
a scrubber.
Listen,
It's
folks,
today.
Paul Hood has thousands of customers.
I mean, that was almost mafioso kind of influence.
I'm telling
on
you,
these banks.
folks, Paul Hood,
Push,
if
push.
you go to hoodcpas.com and you schedule your free consultation with Paul Hood, what's going to happen is one, you can schedule a free consultation. But he has these stories. He has tons of these stories. He has a plethora, a cornucopia of these stories. He has
That's a lot, isn't it?
He has at least
Cornucopia?
7 stories.
That's like something you eat, isn't it?
He has.
That's
Now-
corn on the cob.
Oh,
Now, again, if you're looking for a great accountant, I recommend you always call 2 or 3, shop around, but you get free stories with Paul Hood, great stories. So
call around. Call me last.
okay. Now, Ryan,
Can I recap his story?
yeah.
He wanted money. No one would give it to him. And he walks in the bank and he says, listen,
I want some money.
I need some money right now.
right now.
And they say, no, sir, we're not going to give it to you.
Put the money in the
We're not
bag.
going to give you that money. He goes,
Put the money in the
I
bag.
don't think you understand what's going to happen right here. I'm going to start pushing you. And I mean pushing, I mean really pushing.
Push it.
I'm going to push you so hard.
It's like salt and pepper.
You're going to feel
Push
really
it real
pushed.
good.
And therefore, you're going to give me the money.
Put the money
So
in.
save us both some time.
Put it in the back.
Save us both. And then they went, yes, sir. Here's your money.
Sneaks is in the lobby.
That's an A minus, I think.
having a
I think it's a good thing to get in your toolbox to have the push move ready to go. I think that's as an entrepreneur, you got to have the push button.
Sneaks,
So-
quit asking for the free suckers. Dr. Zoellner's got to go. Unbelievable. Okay, so Ryan, you run Tip Top Canine.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
dog training franchise.
Yes.
How many locations are open?
Right now, 12.
And they're making money?
Yes.
What kind of gross revenue is one of them doing where you can actually talk about it?
So last year we had a lot of them averaging 30, 40,000 a month.
Of revenue?
Yes.
Training dogs?
Yep.
Good story. That's a good story.
That's a great
back
story.
to you. That's a great story. No, I'm just
Great
kidding.
story. Well
All right,
done.
so Ryan, give us a story. What's your story?
Well, there was no banks or Boeing or $1 million houses. So basically, when I first started up like 14 years ago, I maxed out 7 credit cards. Just
Started up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it started up. What's credit cards?
Yep. Credit cards. So
You
I,
make a grown man cry. What kind of credit cards? Macy's cards?
Plastic. I'm
no.
Target?
We just
Sears.
it was all types of credit cards, to be honest.
Did you use
I
any of those
just-
Mimi's Cafe cards?
No, I just got 8 cards and cash advanced them all.
Creditcards.com?
Yep.
How
Yep,
much
so-
money did you get?
so
How
was
much-
it because-
$35,000.
$35,000.
Yep.
with
I
8
love
cards.
it. That's a
So
great
the
story.
internet wasn't as fast, so I literally opened up like 8 browsers at the same time.
That's the move. You
And
hit
then put
submit.
them all in, and then was like bang,
Dude,
bang, 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 bang.
I did that move as a
Yeah.
young man.
Right.
Did you ever do the thing? I know that you only listen to Christian music now, and for
Yeah.
great reason. I get it.
I
But did
didn't
you ever do
before.
the thing to a BMG Music where you got 11 CDs for a penny?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Did you do that
Yeah.
move too?
Can't you win $1 million by doing that or something?
Dude, I'm gonna tell you.
No,
The
you
catch
win your
was
house
you had
if
to
you
buy
do.
one CD within the month, and you had to
Right.
cancel, and you got to get 11 for a penny. I signed up when I was like 15, 16. Any name I could think of. I literally signed up with my dad, my mom. I went for the dog, and I recognized it worked. So I was like just signing up random people. It seemed like there's probably 45 people living in my house at some point. I mean, but that's how I built
That's
my
a
first
lot.
CD collection. I like the resourcefulness. So you did it.
Yeah.
You maxed out the credit cards.
Right. So then I paid. I'd been working with another dog trainer. They moved. I paid a guy who trains trainers how to be professional trainers and get set up and stuff. He came out. I paid him a huge chunk of money.
Chunk of money.
And then I'm
Money in chunks.
on my own, and I'm bombing it. So I have a yellow van. It's wrapped. I have some pretty Word document flyers. Business cards got in, and then I realized I only have a few leads that I've got, right? And then I did okay selling with him when it was like half him there, right? Because he was the guru. And then my first one I go to by myself, the people are like really not impressed, asking if I know any other dog trainers that train similar to me.
Wow. Did you ever take
Yeah.
your van and go park it by a dog park? And
Yeah,
just sit out
so
there
what
like in a lawn
happened is
chair?
I get everything started, and then I'm like, hey, I literally have no leads. And so I would go park my van, and I would train my dogs in public for like 3 or 4 hours at a time to try to generate leads because I had no leads at all.
Speaking of public, you guys remember that grocery store called Publix?
Yes.
Publix.
No.
It's
Really?
in Texas, I
Sorry,
know.
Clay.
They sponsored me to speak like, I don't know, when I was 26. And you're supposed to thank the sponsor, Z. So I get up and I'm like, I want to thank the good folks at Publix for sponsoring me. And I didn't know that wasn't the name.
No, you did. No, you.
My wife can vouch. And so I'm like, I want to thank Publix. They're just a great organization. And I probably said
Oh, no.
it
Dun, 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 dun.
maybe 10 times.
Is that like calling
crowd-
Mr.
the crowd did-
DeMoss
the
Mr.
crowd did
Dumbass?
this. The crowd
Well,
did this.
My wife is waving at me like, stop.
Hey, stop.
No. And I don't know
Don't say
what
it
she's
again.
doing. So I just keep saying it.
No.
And so anyway, it
Was
turns
that
out
your
it's
worst-
not.
Was that your worst faux pas at a?
Yeah, referring to Publix as Publix. It got everybody laughing. I just thought they liked me. Oh, they love this guy.
Awesome.
What a great, funny guy. Anyway, so that is a story that didn't end well. But I want to read 3 notable quotables, and we're going to wrap up today's show. Napoleon Hill once wrote a book called Outwitting the Devil. Outwitting the Devil. And in the book, Outwitting the Devil, he says, you are entitled to know that 2 entities occupy your body. One of these entities is motivated by and responds to the impulse of fear.
Here.
The other is motivated by and responds to the impulse of faith. Will you be guided by faith, or will you allow fear to overtake you?
Boom.
Boom.
Next notable quotable. Napoleon Hill says, the capacity to surmount failure without being discouraged is the chief asset of every person who attains outstanding success in any calling. Napoleon Hill, because he was on fire, goes on to write, failure is a man-made circumstance. It is never real until accepted by man as permanent. So if you're out there today and you're dealing with some rejection, you got to push through it. You have to not stop. You have to keep pressing, keep pushing. This is going to be your year to thrive. I know you're going to have success, but you cannot stop because all success is on the other side of great adversity. You have to fight through the problems. You gain strength through struggle. You got to fight through it. So you have to do it. And by the way, Z, your calf muscles are percolating.
Well, that had a lot of adversity. You can.
I
tell.
bet if it had showed those calves when he went to the bank, loan done.
Short shorts, baby. That was my secret move, but I didn't use it.
Well, we're going to end this show with a boom.
I
So here we
thought
go.
it would be unfair.
It would be unfair.
We're going to end the show with a boom. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.